game. A couple of false starts. We've eased you in. We've tantalized you with our thoughts on Counter-Strike. But now we can come back to the present, at a present of a game. Like we said, right? Two big orgs really clashing it out. This is your second of the 4 chances, by the way, for the open qualifiers. Of course, there's still a lot more you've got to get through after this, Vince. But at least they've still got a few chances, even if they struggle here today. Because one of them isn't going to make it past round 1.
Exactly, and that's the problem, isn't it? These are the 2 teams you'd expect to see in those kind of like, round of 16 matchups, hitting each other very early on. Rough times indeed, but this is where you have to prove you deserve to be making it to the close qualifiers. These are the kind of grindhouse games, and it's all the way of the Danes so far. 3 kills back to back. Make it 4. Maze with the last man standing on his shoulders, but it's Basso that slaps him down with a 4K on top of it. And that's about as dominant as it gets. 338 ADR for the man, and Team Secret have been well and truly embarrassed in that round.
A rough start for them. That one ripped away in seconds. Good way to get the blood pumping, though, for Copenhagen Wolves. Spreading those legs. Those quadruped legs down on the ground. Wolves, of course. Ooh, hot feet there. That's an interesting bug that's still around in CS2. Sometimes the molly just kind of makes it look like your feet have caught fire. So it's all right. Don't worry. He's got big shoes on. Not going to be burning his toes. He'll be okay. No damage done to the CT side. A lot of damage done, though, to Team Secret. Of course, back down to just the Glocks, Vince. Only a single flash on Mace. So he's going to try and make a bit of a pop play for them. Well, he might have, but they've lost Anarchist. I do like the way the ragdolls just slump into the corner as well.
Just get smited from the gods above. Like, nah, you're not playing this round. No damage was inflicted, I don't think, at least. So I believe it's just going to be the classic reset and match medic coming up. So unfortunately, some more delays. Hopefully we can get properly into this game because, well, I mean, it's going to be a 2-0, realistically. Just a flash and not much else. And then we can get into the rifle rounds, and that's really where things start to get interesting. But yeah, rough start to this game, all things considered.
It's hard as well, right? Because especially from our side, it kind of feels like someone sort of offered you your dinner, and you go in to take a few mouthfuls, but then they take it back, and they're like, well, is that done? Is that seasoned? You're like, no, it's fine. Honestly, I'd really quite like can I just have the pasta? And you're like, well, we can't give you the pasta, I'm afraid. You know what? You can have the pasta. But for the players, it's even worse, because they are the pasta, Vince, and they're getting moved from side to side in this metaphor.
They are indeed. I mean, it must be super frustrating, because as we were talking about just there, so much on the line, real stress test, I think, for both of these teams as well. Secret have some players that have been around quite a few pretty high-level teams, to be fair, the likes of Anarchist and Innocent, of course. And so these are the kind of tournaments, and these are the kind of opportunities where you really want to show what you're worth, and kind of having this stopping and starting, and won't they? And they would have been warming up, of course, before the game for a long time. Now they just have to sit and watch and wait. Yeah, that's going to change a few things. Interestingly, last round, I swear they went for Glocks and one flash. They've decided, yeah, screw it. You know what? We're actually going to just all in on this round the second time of asking. Or have we actually just gone to 2-0 and we missed the round? Now I'm confused, Jacky. I'm dazed and confused myself.
I think it's because he's reconnected, but the round played out because it doesn't seem like there's any way to force pause it from what I can see. Obviously, I haven't played on the platform, just from what we've clocked over the past couple of days. So I assume the situation is round ticks over into the next. He rejoins. You've got to wait for the admin to run it back. And then I guess they'll go from there. So we'll see. We'll see. Figure out what the situation is going to be with this one. Would probably be the dream, really, if Anarchist had the AK into the previous round. Would have been way better than just the Glocks, but not the way it's going to go. It is a bit of a shame, especially, we're trying to keep that momentum up, I would imagine more so for Copenhagen Wolves, because it feels like you kind of grind into a halt, and then you've got to get back into it quite quickly. No real room to warm up. That's the problem. Because you also wonder, Vince, for a lot of these players, especially in the first rounds of these qualifiers, you probably haven't been sitting there on your Todd all day. You've probably at least been in the deathmatch, in the refrag, watching a few demos, trying to get yourself switched on. And then when you have these kind of false starts, it does make it hard to sort of get back into that flow state as quickly. So it's always a bit rough. Kind of makes the game of Counter-Strike flow a bit weirdly compared to how it used to. Sort of like the water in toilets in Australia, Vince, the way it goes the other way.
Yeah, they have to just switch their brains on and try and reverse all of the waiting around. That's really what kills you. I mean, in terms of being a player or a caster or anything, anyone will tell you that when you're sitting around waiting and unsure as to when the game will actually start, it's kind of hard for you to press the pause button and then go again because you're in this weird state of flux where you're not sure how long it's going to be. No one has an ETA on roughly how long it's going to take. And so, as a player's perspective, you just sat there, just like trying to keep yourself loose, trying to keep yourself chill, especially when it's at the start of the day as well. Because, like, if one of these teams does make it all the way to the round of 16s, the quarterfinals, which will be taking place tomorrow, that is a lot of games. Like, that's a lot of hours, probably 6 or 7 hours worth of playing if you go the distance today. And so, starting off with delays and anxiety and stress, especially if it's like an anti-cheat issue, that is like pure um hypotheticals from my perspective, but we know from looking into some of the channels on Discord, a lot of players are having issues with the anti-cheat. Then that's even more of a stress and frustration, because sometimes it's out your hands. Like, what do I have to do? How do I fix this? Why does my game keep kicking me out? It all
Yeah.
builds up. It's all like that added stress that you don't want.
It does vex you. It does vex you. It's one of the rough bits, and a lot of players do struggle with that sort of stuff as well. Because they're not IT support, they're not technicians. I know there's a lot of people that sort of believe like I'm going to copy that guy's config because he must be unbelievable at understanding every command in CS. But for a lot of them, they just play with what they play with. They whack on what they have. Like you remember back at the major with Dexter when he had all those mad settings in his config that were just causing him all the trauma in the world. Just because he just didn't know what they were. He just put them in there for the sake of it because someone told him to. It is balmy to me. You always got to put your due diligence in for yourself. Here's a fun one for you, though, Vince. Off topic. I've always enjoyed these. I've spoke about them a few times, and I kind of always look in to see like if there's any new ones that's been discovered. But I really enjoy antigrams. You know how like Lord Voldemort obviously told Marvolo riddle, right? Like big anagram. Everyone's like, oh wow, when you're 12 in the cinema watching Chamber of Secrets, blew your mind like wide off. There's a lot of good ones. There's a lot of cool antigrams, which are basically just anagrams of words which mean the opposite of the initial word. So earliest can be rearranged to write out arise late, which is pretty cool. Complete opposite there, that's a fun one. You've also got Inferno, Vince. That could spell non-fire.
I see. I think I remember reading about one antagonist can be not against, which is
Oh,
interesting, right? Because normally you watch a movie, there's like the villain or whatever, not against. That's the
that
only one I
is
can remember though
interesting.
hearing. There
But
must
I've
be
always
loads of
thought they're
bangers to be
pretty.
fair.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. I've noticed like now and then you see a new one pop up that someone's figured out you can do. Here's a good one. Within earshot, I won't hear this.
Nice. That makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is
I'm
interesting.
not gonna lie, I just did Google some because I felt like just bringing up one to the discussion
Bringing it
might
to
be
the
a bit
table.
crap.
Just the ones going.
So misfortune, it's more fun.
Hey, there you go. It is crazy how many of these exist. You wouldn't think it. You wouldn't think it, but they do pop up.
Yeah, I can't remember. It must have been like 5 or 10 years ago where I first heard of the idea of the antigram, because obviously anagram is the more sort of popular and famous one. But I do remember that antagonist one, and I always thought that was quite interesting. And that antagonist one also kind of reminds me a little bit of Tenet. Have you seen that, the Christopher Nolan
Oh
movie?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Kind of factors into that whole concept. I won't spoil the movie for anybody, but yeah, it's a bit of a mind screw. I'm not gonna lie. I was confused many times watching that. I'm not the brightest spark, Jacky, but yeah, I was sat there sometimes with drool coming out my mouth.
Mate, I tell you, I remember watching that movie, Vince, the day it came out. And now I remember this being a bit of a common complaint with the film, where basically like the audio mix was a bit bass heavy. It was a bit music and gunshot heavy, but audio was very quiet for dialogue. And I was watching it and I felt like an old man, Vince. I was there, like, this is so loud. I don't understand what's going on. To the point where I remember walking out of that movie, my head was ringing. I felt like I had literally been flashbanged by the film because like you could see the projection and the screen just like physically wobbling anytime there was a gunshot. But then when it was a conversation between two of the characters, it'd just be like, and I'm like, what are they? What the fuck is going on? What are they saying? It was a nightmare, mate. It was probably a good movie. I just really didn't understand what happened. It kind of just felt like it was a silent film, other than the gunshots.
No, I remember hearing about that because I don't typically like going to the cinema that much. People just annoy me too much, to be honest with
That's
you,
fair,
with
yeah.
their terrible behavior and etiquette. So I normally just wait till it's online. And I watched it, and I had heard those complaints about the film, and it is kind of like a classic Christopher Nolan meme. You know, in some of his other movies, it's kind of similar. I will say this is definitely the worst for it, though. Completely agree. So it definitely helped. I was watching it online. I could go back and listen to something again if I didn't understand it. You know, pop the subtitles
Oh
on and
yeah.
stuff. It is mental though, as a native English speaker watching an English spoken movie. I have to put subtitles on to understand what the hell is being said. That is mental, Christopher Nolan. You're a great filmmaker, mate, but maybe just crank up the volume next time.
Like, come on, Chris, what are you doing, bud? Just balance it out a bit. Literally whack it in Vegas, balance the audio, ship it back, it'll be sound. Yeah, it is mad. I've realized that as well, especially like I used to be someone that I don't know if it's just the way my brain works, but I hated watching films if subtitles were enabled because if it wasn't I'm looking at the subtitles, I'm looking at the film itself, and I could never balance it between being able to watch
Yeah.
the film and have the subtitles on screen. It was like I must look at one or the other. And then especially when I'd notice they're slightly different and I'd be like, well, that's just not what he said. It really frustrated me. So subtitles, they can be good. They also can be bad. This could be good though. Looks like we've had a bit of a reset. Reginald Run It Back has joined the server. And we're back to the Glocks with a flashbang. This is where we were, but we'll see. We'll see if it goes live. Could be the dream, Vince. Could be straight back in.
Yeah, I would love to have like all the confidence about this one, but I'm not gonna lie. I've seen too much over the last 3 days in these resets, so I'll believe it when they start the round. Um, I've been jaded, Jackie. I've been jaded, mate.
It's the way it goes, but look, I think the thing is, in this day and age, it's better to not expect too much and then be pleasantly surprised versus we gamble on it and we don't get what we hope for. So for now, we'll hold out. We'll see where it goes. It seems like again. I mean, we had similar sort of issues right with the first round last time. So I don't know if it is just a matter of the sheer amount of games, sheer amount of people that have to get like authenticated as they log in through Arcos and everything. But the longer the day goes on, the more it's smoothed out. I imagine it'll probably be a similar sort of story here. Towards the tail end, everything looked pretty clean. Yesterday, by and large, well, at least from our side, obviously didn't really seem to have that many problems. It felt like it was pretty clean for a lot of the games that were going down, which was nice. So as we get closer into some of the smaller rounds, less teams, because obviously right now, I think you had what, about a thousand and something teams signed up. I think checked in wise, we were looking at just over 800, which is a fairly decent turnout. It's not bad at all. I mean, open qualifiers, especially with this sort of timing term, 4 p.m. sort of central time for Europe. There's probably some people that would like to play that maybe are at work, so you kind of got more the dedicated audience of people that are able to compete in it. It's a pretty good turnout for it. It's nice to see at least there is a good thriving audience of the grassroots sort of just public scene, people that want to give it a shot. Doesn't matter if you don't make it, right? But playing in it can give you a lot of experience, even if you're just someone that enjoys CS. And here we go for the CS enjoyers out there. Looks like we can go back into the game, Vince. Fingers crossed, toes crossed. Let's hope for the best.
Indeed, I am beginning to believe. And Team Secret, as we mentioned before, some of you may have just filtered into the stream. If so, welcome. They do have the flash, they have the Glocks, and it's the exact same Molotov playing out as well. Team Secret in the same setup, haven't changed a single damn thing. Anarchize will be looking to the skies and hoping the lightning doesn't come down again and he actually gets a chance to play this round. But it should be, on paper at least, a very straightforward round for Copenhagen Wolves. If they could squeak a bomb plant here with a very passive defense being set up from Copenhagen Wolves, then there is a real chance that maybe they can force this bomb down, and that in itself would be success. But no, they're getting picked apart on the approach. All 5 players dead, and Copenhagen Wolves move to a quick fire 2-0 as expected.
Okay. So first 2 rounds, tagged and bagged. They'll be able to walk away with those. It's a good start for Copenhagen Wolves, at least. Obviously, it could have been quite upsetting if any shenanigans were to happen straight out of the gate. Let's see where we go from here, then. Rifles pulled out for Secret. They've got them ready. Ooh, a lot of damage done towards middle early on, and Svedgehead tries to push down. Lane control, looking to be taken here. He's going to be waiting in the cubby as well. Spam towards the back. Barely whizzing by him. But he's still standing. And if you can actually find this frag for free, no one going to clear the angle. You've got an advantage to work with now on the T side that is doubled up. Basso trades, Vince, but it's just the one.
Yeah, just the one trade back may not be good enough, especially as Maze has gone one step further, shutting down that aggression down the ramp. It was a bit of a bonus for some MP9s in play, but certainly not the outcome the Copenhagen Wolves were hoping for. They were wanting to get more casualties down, even if they lose the round. And although the AK of Vigo Magi just popping up on Catwalk, he will take the kill. It looked like Towson should have him dead to rights with just his head bobbing up and down. But the Galil versus the AK, the inferior weapon, and showing us why.
You've got the advantage, at least in the battle of attrition. Maze already warming up into the game with the 2 frags he's found. Players to go up through cave and into the B bomb site. And Vigo, he's there with the smoke. Has a kit in the back pocket as well. A push coming out towards the extremities of the map, at least for information. Doesn't hard commit to that. Now we'll have the call from his teammate that he needs to rotate fast. Vigo has to stay alive. First shot connects, seconds clean as well. And it's all on Maze in a 1v2. Peeks out for information, trying to find the 1v1. But instead he gets fed to the gun. And Copenhagen Wolves claw that one back, Vince. Finding a 3rd round with the quad kill coming out from Vigo.
That was what, a 2v4, I want to say? And Copenhagen Wolves completely isolated from one another. I just can't believe they've got back into that one. That's insane. I mean, Vigo comes out through on the catwalk, gets the shot down onto the Galil-wielding player, and you think, okay, 3 players just going to clump together, they're going to push through, get their angles covered, and this should still go the way of Team Secret. Not the case at all. They at least have the luxury of 3 Galils and 2 AKs. But man, that's a round that they're going to be feeling very sore about indeed, Jacky. That was their chance to get in early, break the economy down, and really take this game by the scruff of the neck.
It felt like it was the starting point, right? It looked clean for the position they're in. I'm surprised they gave Vigo so many opportunities for those 1v1s, and he was just taking them with open arms. This looks a lot better, at least. The struggle, the power fight towards middle has gone in the favor of Team Secret. They get some openings to play with. So, 5 versus 3, you outnumber them. Down 2 players on Copenhagen Wolves. Where's the response going to come from? Vigo still at least has control of Donut. Red Room is covered by Basso as well. Bit of utility to work with there. But all of lane, all of cave, that's entirely exposed. Basso! His spider sense tingled, Vince, and he peeks at just the right time. Catches whiff of the B rotate and can relay that info over.
Yeah, it's great intel as well. Worth so much. But what do they do with that information? Are they able to navigate their way through and get success? 2 players stacked over in the form of Basso and Mups G. That does leave Vigo by himself, but he showed us in that previous round he's more than capable of holding that burden. 30 seconds now. Smoke's being deployed on the B site. Anaker's not going out just yet. At some point, someone's going to have to push. They do have the rotational element in, but that's only worth as much as the push is, because now they've gone through back on mid. Molotov down on Donut. It's going to stall them for so long, and a second kill on top of it. Secret may have overguessed this one, overworked it, but Torsen now has the chance to shut it down. 8 seconds left. There should be enough time for the plant, but not required, as Towson's flank was everything, and Secret get it done, but that was a real sweaty round.
Ooh. Mate, that was leg day at the gym, Vince. Sweaty and probably going to leave you feeling a little bit sore in the morning. Bit scary with how that one went, but they pick up the round. At least that, you can wipe the sweat off the brow, reset, towel yourself down a little bit as well, just to be safe. And now try and connect a few together. See what you can do off the back of this. It did look worrying, though. Felt like they had a good control of the round as soon as they're rotating off towards B. Basso, brilliant timing from the face from him. And he's showing up tonight. 7 frags already, 181 ADR into the game, getting into the groove of things early. Needs a bit of backup. 2 names, and Copenhagen Wolves are yet to pull out those claws and start slicing towards Team Secret. And Svedjahed, in the past, whenever I've seen him play, he feels like he is a bit lethal, but he can be quite hot and cold. He is like that Katy Perry song, Vince. If he's not on, he's just not there. So Svedjahed, if he wakes up, gets into it, that would be a big bit of relief for them. At the minute, though, it is just one round. Won't get ahead of ourselves. Let's stick to the present. Team Secret walking up towards A. They wanted to go contact. The CTs have naded in. That's instant free information. It plays that audio cue off the back of the damage dealt. They can wide swing and they clean house. You're down to just 2 players, and a round that should have been them trying to clash for 2 in a row now looks like they're just struggling to stay alive.
Well, Svedjahed scorching in this round, Jacky. Those 2 kills he picked up on main, worth so much. Molotov ins from the box, won't be afforded the luxury of feeling any kind of warmth from it, Kindo, as his head removed from Basso's Deagle. And although Innocent may have got 1, he's got 4 more players to find. In a real mix-up buy, a bargain bucket buy at that, has struck gold. Has taken a 4th round for Secret, or for Copenhagen Wolves, pardon me. Secret wish they had 4 rounds at this point. They wish they had any kind of economy to play with. They're flat out broke as well.
Boy, oh boy. It's rough, man. Those A contact plays in CS2 can be so hard to deal with. Just because you literally have that 1 HE, you dash it out. CS2 used to be the fact that, well, CSGO used to be the fact that if you had armor, it wouldn't play the sound confirmed damage. Whereas now it doesn't matter. Have armor, don't have armor. If it hits you, it plays such a loud, meaty chunk sound that you're going to know they're coming. So you can just peek off the contact. They're slowed as well. This time, they are given a bit of a free sight, though. Far more stock put into controlling lane and mid, thinking they're going to go for a B play. They've just walked on out. They've taken A for free. There's no response. Copenhagen Wolves forced to play for the retake. They do have the weapons and utility to potentially build themselves back into it, but that's where you fight these Glocks in close angles, Vince, and that's where they're most dangerous. Ooh, unlucky for Innocent as he falls first.
Spray on point from Basso and everything falling into place. Post-plant, though, is pretty much what Secret were looking for. So in that regard, mission accomplished. Bolsters up there by significantly into the next round. But already we're getting into that kind of territory, Jacky. We're getting bomb plants down. Probably not good enough if you're Team Secret. You need to start converting some of this economy into raw points on the board. Otherwise, you face the very real possibility of just being swept away. Copenhagen Wolves already with 5. Secret, though, have an open play. Anakez donning that weapon. No warp on the side of Copenhagen Wolves just yet. They're sticking with everything that they brought out the last round, including an MP9.
Back to the old tricks with the mid play. Ooh, Svedjahed. He's getting into the groove of things now. Woken up a lot more. Controls lane, forces Secret down to just 2 men. Torsen and Anarkez in a horrific spot. What do you even do to build back into this one? So many players stationed, poised towards that B bomb site. Cave is completely theirs. Good luck getting that back. Smoke up from MupsG to block off the angle. Anarkez tailing behind as well, quite far back. No real room to trade for each other. And you don't even have that many nades to work with either. It's the one Molotov, a smoke, and a flash. That's everything they've got. You've got a minute of time, sure. But what do you do in that? Go for the face-up ramp, see if you can walk on in. Basso's on the off angle. If he falls, Vigo can look for the trade. It's really looking green around the guilds here, Vince.
That's rough times. They needed that kill realistically on MupsG. They had to stand a little bit of a chance. And the CTs, look at that aggression. Vigo pushes through the Molotov on Cave to help MupsG out, just to ensure that whatever happens, blood will be shed for Secret. And they're going to call the tactical timeout. They do have money to rummage together a potential buy of Galils and AKs. But again, we're in that kind of territory where things are looking so hairy for them. AKs also have been traded up on multiple players. So Copenhagen Wolves, with tons of surplus cash, they're feeling pretty damn good right now. By the way, Basso, 173 ADR with 12 kills as we move into round 8. That's a stellar performance by anyone's standards.
Oh yeah, he's come alive, mate. First few rounds, he was already up to like 7 kills. He was getting into the groove of things really quickly. Just delivering. Still keeping that ADR high, which is hard to do consistently over the course of things. So looking good. CT side Dream firmly on the move here for Copenhagen Wolves. You're up by 5 rounds. Team Secret, again, really won't have much to work with. It's felt a bit lopsided on the way they've been playing it towards their T side as well. This time around, they're just going to focus on the extremities. You've got 3 players walking up towards A main, going for the little info play. 2 going to be lurking outside B. If the CTs take ramp control, they can strike on the rotate. But that's a big if. They try and bait it with the utility. Are they going to bite on this? Will they full rotate? Timing's close as well. Shadow might give them away on the push. Innocent goes down first. And they're not going to be falling for this. They defend the entry. Deagle strikes back, but there's an easy trade as Anarchez is gone. And Maze is wondering what on earth he's left to deal in this one.
Man, that timing on the peak was just so brutal for Team Secret. So they were trying to make this set play happen. Smoke comes down. They try and push. They turn their back to avoid the flash, go and counter flash. Well, there is the M4A1S just spraying him down, and the Deagle switch across as well. Very nice play. And Copenhagen Wolves, hot off the back of that tactical timeout, getting success. However, it was more of a half buy. Max round loss bonus, of course, will afford you, or near enough max round loss bonus will afford you a lot of options on the T side with post plants. So they can go back in for another full rifle round. Problem for me, though, Jacky, is they've looked a little bit toothless on these rifle rounds. Like, they haven't done much to win any kind of confidence. I mean, the fact is, Kindo still yet to get off the mark. He's still 0-8. The rest of the team's not really fragging either. Collectively, they have 13 kills, and we're in round 9. Like, that is very, very rough.
Yeah, it is a bit worrying, bub. This is not what we expected, really. I was thinking we were going to get a bit of a closer game out of this one. And on your T side, if you just can't find your footing, can't get into the groove of things, with how short games can be now, in best of ones with MR12, you could be watching this entire qualifier just pass through your hands in seconds. You're going to have to wait, go again. That's the scary bit as well, right? Because obviously both of these teams hoping they can go quite deep, you'd imagine. Try and put some respect on the name of the org. If you fall out in the first round, it just feels a bit flat. This time, Maze bypasses his way up into B. Hoped that he could get those digits hammered in and plant the bomb. Instead, Innocent's forced to try, but look, it's not a HE, it's a Molotov this time, denying it. And they've got Molotovs for days, Vince. The site is turning into a sauna, and they do not like the heat.
Innocent just burnt down to 7. Torsen's going to try and pick up the slack. One kill comes in. Nice spray from Torsen, giving him a lifeline. Innocent with another one, but Svedjehead comes straight back with his own. And a labored spray will see Torsen down in the dumps. Anarchez was stuck for days behind that smoke, could have no impact whatsoever. And with 25 seconds coming up on the clock with the AWP, this is asking a lot of anybody. Misses his shot, and that really does just encapsulate this performance so far from Secret. They've had chances, but they just haven't really delivered. Some very nice Molotov placement, as you highlighted there, Jacky, delaying that bomb plant for so long. And the reason why Secret looked so desperate on that plant is because they'd expended all of their smokes. They'd gone for this full set play with the idea of, right, we're going to force away the CTs, get the plant down, and then put all the pressure on their shoulders. They never got that luxury. They were never afforded that chance. Very well played by Copenhagen Wolves again.
And the utility is just such a difference maker, man. CT side Ancient, if you've got the understanding how to use your nades, you've got such a big edge. Helps finding frags as well. And cave control is claimed. 2 pickups there on the initial push. Molotov ricochets off the wall to keep Tolson trapped as well. And they're going to know this. That audio cue off the back of it confirms it. Maze tapping with the tech. Couple shots, but not enough to drop the man and leave him laid out on the deck. He'll scurry away, so the weapon can't be taken. And you're looking at a 4 versus 3 with Secret relatively fragmented. They had a good understanding of the positioning of at least one of the players and saw the bomb. And where do you go from this? If you're going to bleed out onto middle, you need Kindo to hit a real big frag with that deagle. And even then, it's ifs and buts if you can build something together. You only have 1 rifle, and that's on Torsum.
They're only just starting to make moves into cave. Again, time is going to become a nuisance. Almost a 6th player from Copenhagen Wolves. And Secret doing themselves no favors, but it's understandable. They've been so hammered this entire half. Maybe confidence not exactly at its strongest suit. Flashbang does nothing, but the deagle will. Kindo off the mark. Great to see, but he is going to fall down to Svedjehead off the site. And now the AK is going to rip and tear through more, or perhaps not. It does give Basso the chance to pad those stats just that little bit more, and he will oblige, tipping his cap as he sprays the last 2 down. Copenhagen Wolves 9, Team Secret 1. And it's just difficult to see where these rounds are going to come from, Jacky, and they obviously feel the same way, hence another tactical timeout.
At least they have called the pause, though. Slow it down. You've lost so many rounds on the spin at this point. If you're going to keep yourself in it, if you're going to have any sort of chance to try and reset the mentality and clap back, you've got to take a pause here. So at least they've made the heads up call. They've got money to work with as well. You can reinvest into it. Lost bonuses at a pretty big high just by the sheer amount of rounds they've lost on the trot. So reinvest, come out strong. See what they can switch up here. Early utility usage has been such a demolishing force against them. They've been running into the nades, running into the Molotovs, and just losing so much map control off the back of it. They can't control cave either. Even when they've tried to push it and just overwhelm Copenhagen Wolves, they're finding the frags. They're being able to play like turrets and hold them back. 3 players early on being stationed towards B. You've got to set up for the smoke as well. That's a deep smoke going in that will block off towards long. They boost the AWPer. He hits the shot. Anarquez opens the round. All right, Vince. First pick goes the way of Team Secret.
And it's Basso. It's the main man himself, the talisman of the CT side, who's been running amok. A real nemesis on the side of Secret. So to get that first pick is huge. Flash affords Mups to relocate to the back of the site, where he will lay in wait with his A1S. Maze with a quick fire entry. This is more like it from Secret. But have they left it too little too late in this half? They need the last 2 realistically and the pistol. And it seems as though this round is going to fall into place nicely. Tons of cash for Copenhagen Wolves. There is no reason for them not to go in for this. They will be able to buy for the next 2 rounds very comfortably, or the next round, I should say, very comfortably. So Svedjehead's going to be leading the point with the AK, but Kindo on the cross will make sure that there will be no reinforcements finding their way on catwalk. This forces both the CTs to maneuver together. Not much time left on the clock, looking for a bit of damage onto the economy, perhaps, of the Ts. Another kill comes in. Vigo tries, he may. Can't get it done, and neither can Svedjehead. Secret double up their tally, but it's only 2 facing off against 9.
Even best case scenario, if they knock on wood here, you're taking a 3-9 split at the half. So your pistol round, it is worth so much. You've got to come out swinging from the starting pistol. And if they let that fall, that's basically the game in the bag there for Copenhagen Wolves that have been playing some great CS. And again, like you said, right, that's 1 round where Basso wasn't a presence on the battlefield. How many times is that going to happen? Here, first pick goes in favor of the CTs. They try it again. The exact same play with a boost up from Anarquez. They're ready for it, Vince. And they respond by giving Vigo the scope. He plays with the AWP towards backside, hits the shot instantly. You're down 2 players and you're trapped in lane. This has been the hurt locker for them time and time again. And they've opened it up and had a good old rummage. They don't like what they see, Vince, because it's 10-2 at the half.
Bruh, those utility setups from Well, the Wolves were a thing of beauty as well, man. It's like Secret were trying to desperately break the shackles, but every time they took one step forward, they were picking more and more shrapnel out of their kneecaps and shins. There's just no way for them to get close. A real stellar CT side from Copenhagen Wolves. A lot of huge plays, and it hasn't necessarily just been the Basso show either. I mean, we've seen Mups G, Vigo as well. Chesnik also picking up fair few frags and having a lot of impact in those rounds. So certainly Basso, the player that stands out the most, but has had a supporting cast of some exquisite aim. Kindo now, a rough day at the office in that first half, at least gets one, but he gets traded. He will have tons of intel, though, showing the rest of his teammates, look, they're all mid, but there's so much time left in this round. That information is going to fade with its value as each second ticks forward.
Innocent near misses with the USP, sniping down from Red Room. Vigo plays on a close angle and actually has the timing on this. He's been able to walk the whole way up. Meanwhile, Anarquez wants to cause some anarchy with the Julies, but he cannot withstand the pain from Mups G. Lays him out on the Glock. Vigo, after taking that initial space towards Red Room, has probably heard that they've scurried off. They opt to run straight in through Donut, and Torsten, he's waiting in the back. P2000 claps down, 2 frags found, big pickup onto the second, and he's put them into a good position here. Now you outnumber the T's. Vigo, turning quickly, slides in with the P250, slams onto the first, CT man goes down. It's all on Torsten. He's had 2 frags, can he get 2 more? Not today, Vince. Copenhagen Wolves run away with a pistol.
And you land those snappy, crisp headshots from Torsten's perspective and still lose the round. That is going to be a backbreaker spiritually for him. That sucks to see. Great effort, but Copenhagen Wolves had already got into such good positions that Vigo could lock it down. Great P250 aim from him as well. And that's another thing, like going back to the pistol rounds, he's saying that you really enjoy them. I'm right alongside with you, to be honest, Jacky. And it's cool to see the P2000 is getting way more play now than it did in CSGO. It feels like a lot of the pros are preferring the P2K over the USB.
It's nice to see, man. I love it personally. I've been using it since day one, way back. Never switched to the USP, just couldn't get behind it. And I think it's just so fun with the mobility you've got. It feels like having a Glock on CT side, right? Where you can just keep spamming, keep hitting those heads and shut them down. It feels like it has a good bit of oomph to it in the newer title. So glad to see it getting a bit of love again, starting to be used by more names than just Freiburg being the only one on the server. You'd see using it for a while towards the tail end of CSGO. Here though, Vince, pistols, they're going to have to really deliver, as it's all you've got in Team Secret's camp. Sure, there's 2 MP9s, but they're playing together, both stationed over here towards the A site. One up on the boost, one just baiting, jiggling for info. They might be blessed with a potential mid-to-B donut burst off the back of the way the T's are poisoning themselves. But they can still wrap this round, go through lane, and head in towards the B site. That's where Innocent has to go huge with a 5-7.
Yeah, precisely. I wouldn't be surprised if they're stacking 3 players over on A. Additionally, just to save, if the B site gets completely rampaged through because they've fully invested into this round. But we're in that kind of position where you can't afford to do that. The 5-7 is ripping through the whole of the T's. 3 kills come down back to back, make it 4. And Svedjehead may take down Innocent, but it's at the cost of his life. Secret getting some success, finally, on Ancient.
Nice round to pick up. That's what they needed. Bit of momentum, something to keep them in it. Because that's really the prospect they're looking at. If you lose any rounds here, the game's as good as gone. You've got to win these flawlessly. Keep this pain train rolling for as long as possible. It's going to be a hard-fought fight, though. No easy ones, no free rounds. Tech 9s for Copenhagen Wolves. We've been talking about those pistols, talking about that mobility in CS2. This embodies it. You go swift, you tap, you sprint them down. Famous in the close range angle. Maze waiting for the peak. First dink connects as Innocent goes down. And Vince, these pistols are ripping them a new one.
Bruh, Secret. It's like 1 step forward and 50 steps backwards. They get success with the 5-7s. They just get charged down by the Tech 9s. You live by the pistols, you die by them. And that's going to be 9 match points, 9 elimination points if your Team Secret. Their second RMR qualifier for the EU region could come to an abrupt end. And in terms of their finances, they're down to Deagles again. 5-7, M4, MP9, almost an identical purchase to last time, except they have the assault rifle upgrade for Torsten. It worked out for them last time, so maybe Lightning's going to strike twice.
Seems like the lightning bolt of Copenhagen Wolves, though, are going back to the previous destination, straight into B once again. And this is so clean. Even with them taking damage, Vince, they're just ripping everyone's lips off. Kindo, the last one standing, and he falls out of the qualifier, is the way they go. Team Secret, Dunzo.